Well, questions it is.
Questions?
There we go. To the back, Darryl Bruffett.
Thanks. Gotcha.
Mr. Bruffett in the very back.
Coach, do you sense that your team, now that you're starting conference play, has a little more pep in their step? Have you noticed that, or is it just kind of situation normal?
Well, last time I checked, we needed pep in our step the first weekend. So, this team has approached this season with the same sense of urgency. And, I don't know that, we playing a ranked opponent right off the bat got our attention in the offseason. And so we've got to continue to play, at a level that gives us a chance to win. So, what we've tried to do and what we've done the last 2 weeks is look at how we've approached the week, dealt with trying to fix things that are internal, and then go out and try to execute that on Saturdays and play to a certain standard. And so far, we've been able to really kind of reach those types of goals. Can we be better? Yes. But I like our approach right now as coaches and players to what we're doing.
Go down front, Brent, and then Cease, you be next. Gabe.
With a tough test on hand, how would you size up how your offensive line is coming along so far, maybe particularly your interior line?
I don't, we'll see Saturday. I think all you got to do is turn on the video of Auburn and look at their interior, their defensive front. And their defensive front is very, very talented. They're big inside and athletic and experienced, not just Carl Lawson, who's an elite player in this league, but the two inside guys are 300 and some pounds and very, very active. You can say what you want, but they've played really well against Clemson, who's got a lot of great talent. So, we've been tested against UCLA. We'll see where we are. I think if our guys, they've continued to improve, they've gained a little confidence in the last couple of weeks. But that's what games like this are for. And so, our guys will Coach Turner's done a great job with those young guys inside, moving our two guys to the outside, our tackles who've held up pretty well. But this will be a different test from a body type and really, just overall where these guys are, who they're playing against this week will be a little bit different than the first couple of weeks.
Go to the left, Cease, and then Gabe.
Kevin, where do you think the SEC West is as you head into the first conference game? 4 teams lost in the first 2 weeks. Has anything changed in your assessment of the league heading into the summer where it is now?
No, I don't do that. You guys rank that. So, we bounce up and down in the rankings. We middle of the summer, guys rank us dead last, leave out of media days, we go to 4th. This whole thing changes every week. And with wins, I will say this, we've stepped out of our league and played some big-time ball games across the country. Whenever you do that, you run the risk of losing too. But I think it says a lot about this league and the non-conference games that we scheduled the first week and last week, even with Arkansas going to TCU. So you never know. And football, a lot of times are about matchups. And who's healthy at the time, what young guys are coming on, and what time of the season it is from an experience standpoint. So we certainly got a lot of football to play. And you look at this game and, whatever happens this week, there's still a heck of a lot of football to play in this season. But, to start conference play with a game like this, a 6 o'clock game on the road there is exciting for our football team.
Go to the right, Gabe, and then Ben.
Coach, how well do you feel Keith Ford's playing for you here early in the season, and what kind of factor could he make in a trenches type game like this?
Well, Keith Ford has been a very physical player. He likes to play the game. I don't think what you don't see are the things he does when he doesn't have the ball. He's been an excellent pass protector. He's been very, very physical in blocking. And then what a lot of people don't notice is that he's flying down the field on kickoff cover. So as a number two and really an unselfish player. So, he's 215 pounds. He plays with all of that, and he loves to play the game. So, I think as he gets more comfortable, 1 year of rust is a year of rust, but physically and emotionally, he brings everything to the game on Saturday, and our guys know that. They can feel that, and he's really quiet with what he does, but when you turn the tape on after the game, you see that, with the kind of intensity level that he plays with, and I think that carries over into our other running backs. You've got, you saw those guys last Saturday. The competition level in that room is high. That's good for us. It's good for them. I think how they get along. Is everybody happy? Probably not. But what they are is competitive during the week of practice, and then it's life pays off on results. So they get that, but that group is performing at a level that we expect them to perform across the board. All five of those guys in that room, and there's only one football, so they get that too. But with our increased numbers of rushes, they also understand that every one of those guys has an opportunity to go in the game and has to be successful. And the way Keith runs, physically, it'll be tough for him to carry it 30, 40 times a game. And so, the addition of Travion and Kwame and Bussy and James White, and James really hadn't had the numbers, the opportunities that those guys have had, but he's waiting in the wings, and we're going to need him because he's a talented guy too.
Second row, Ben, then Brent.
Coach, this will be y'all's fifth year, playing SEC football. Where do you feel like the program's at right now compared to when y'all first got in and were adjusting to everything?
Well, considering the fact that we had never played in this league, we're light years ahead. So, I came in the league, we're in the Big 12. I never coached in the Big 12. And when I got here, we were supposed to not win at all. And, we've created a standard right now that, that we're supposed to play for championships. And that's a pretty good raise of the bar in 5 years. So, from my standpoint, from where we've come from, what I was tasked to do when I got here from a 500 program to where we are right now, we have gotten better. Is it enough? We want to be a championship football team. We want to be able to do that. We've recruited to that. We've had to try to make some drastic changes from body types to personnel, a lot of different things. We were, people talk about how talented we were when we first got here. We had some first-round picks, but we didn't have anybody after that. We didn't have second, third, fourth-round picks, fifth-round picks. So this league, in the first couple years, we've had to develop those types of players and create depth across the board to compete in the SEC and the SEC West in particular. So have we made strides? Yes. Is it where we want it to be? No, not for me. And we want to win and build a championship program here. That's why I came here, and that's our goal.
Follow up, Ben, or are you done?
No, I think you answered it. So.
Okay. Brent, and then Suzanne. I'm sorry, Brent, Suzanne, and then Sam.
What is it about a Malzahn offense that presents a challenge for defenses, and maybe particularly a year ago?
I didn't hear you the first time.
What is it about a Gus Malzahn offense that presents challenges for defenses, and maybe particularly here a year ago?
Yeah, I mean, shoot, they ran up and down the field last week. I was looking at stats at 706 yards. It's hard to get 700 yards against anybody. We tried last week, we couldn't do it. With the 462 yards rushing. So first of all, that gets your attention. That's going to be a challenge for us coming from where we were last year as a rush defense. So it just makes sense that they're going to attack us that way. I think what you saw against UCLA was a more of a West Coast downhill I formation lead and power team and toss. A different run attack than Gus Malzahn teams, which are more of a misdirection and don't confused. It's a power running attack, even out of a spread offense. But it's power, it's misdirection, it's getting your eyes somewhere, really making you have some eye discipline, not some, a lot, and be accountable, sort of like option football for different numbers, and then creating that extra gap by motion, by flaring guys, by all kinds of things that get you away from what they're really doing, which is power run football, whether it's on the perimeter or inside. So it takes discipline. It takes guys that want to play their gap, and then it also takes eye discipline, because as soon as you get down in there and get worried about that, that's when they take the big shots and eat up big chunk plays. So he knows what he's doing. He hadn't forgot what he's doing, and he's been good at it for a long time. And so we've got our work cut out for us, because they're coming off a game where they were able to get some real things done with confidence with Sean White. I think the two running backs are excellent, up over 100 yards, and then they got Tony Stevens going last week, who as we know, we try to get Tony here in the worst way. So they've got threats on the outside. He's able to utilize all of his people, but to answer your question, it's the motion, it's the getting your eyes everywhere, and making you play assignment-oriented football for the whole time, and waiting for somebody to screw something up so they can hit a big play and then suck you down in there and throw it over your heads. So it's been effective for a long time.
Second row, Suzanne, and then Sam, and then Travis.
Kevin, last year's Auburn game, I guess a lot of us thought you all would win. It ended up being a 26-10 loss at home. How much did that stick in your craw in the offseason, maybe impact some of the decisions you made to change things up? And how much different do you think this team is mentally than what they were?
It's a
in
different
last
year,
November?
Suzanne. I haven't even thought about that game at all.
Okay.
We watched a little bit from a personnel standpoint, but as far as mindset and where we are as a football team, it's a different team.
Now, how much better do you think your defense is against the run, do you think, than they were against Auburn last year? How confident?
I think without a doubt, we're a better team. How much better, we're going to find out Saturday. I mean, that's just being honest. I mean, it's, we were tested the first week. We've been tested a couple weeks. I think personnel-wise, we're better. I think our linebackers have showed up a little bit more than people thought they were, as I said, during fall camp. And Sean Washington's playing great. Has been extremely active. And OT and the rotation in there, getting Claude George in there some, doing some things and trying to keep those guys fresh and up front. The front guys have been playing well as long as the back end. So, it all works hand in hand. And, this will be another test, because that's where we are as a team. As a people, everybody's waiting to see who we are and what we can do, and I think our team enjoys that kind of an attitude, since that's been kind of the attitude about us since week one, to see who we were against UCLA, to see who we were against this week. So this is another week to see what that is. And does that define us for the rest of the season? No. Win or lose, play great, don't play great, whatever happens in this game with our defense doesn't define who we are. And if we've learned anything over the last couple of years, we understand that, playing very well early in the last couple of years. So the approach with these guys has been a really, really day-to-day approach. And as I said at the start, I like the attitude of where we are right now from our players and coaches.
Down front, Sam, then Travis.
Kevin, a little off topic. Jalen Hurts at Alabama is a guy from Houston area. How well did you guys get to know him in the recruiting process, and what impressions did you have of him as a player?
Love Jalen. Love his dad, too. Coach Hurts, we've known each other for a long time, and really happy for him. Not happy that we got to play against him, but happy for the family. We tried there at the end to get him turned. He was a mid-year guy. Maybe if we had 3 weeks and it was a regular signing date, we might have got something out of him, but it doesn't surprise me at all. They're a quality family. Jalen is a guy that doesn't get too high or too low, accepts things and really moves on. And, anytime you have a guy like that and is also a coach's kid, he's going to be ahead of the curve when he steps on the field. So it doesn't surprise me at all. He's having the success he's having.
What about his skill set stuck out to you?
No, everybody, when you say dual threat, the first thing everybody thinks of is run first, then pass. Dual threat doesn't necessarily mean that. You got to be a quarterback too to play at this level, and obviously he's, for what they're asking him to do, he's been able to have success doing that. I think you see his demeanor is what gives him a chance, and particularly as a young player, not getting too overly hyped. He goes in there and they fumble the first snap of his career. I think, isn't that right?
That's right.
And then he bounces back and comes back and does what he does. So, it's just like anything else. 2 games doesn't say who you are in your career, but certainly he's got a bright future, and I hope he plays well against everybody except one. So that's the best I can do for Coach Hurts and Jalen.
To the left, Travis.
Is Richard Moore and Priest Will's status still available for the game
Yes.
this weekend?
Yes.
Second row, Ben.
Coach, this year, right
Where
here.
you at?
Coach, right here, Ben.
Right,
Okay.
second row.
You're doubling up on me today, Ben.
Hey,
That's hard. Keep it moving.
I got to do what I can here. When y'all have a guy like Trevor who's going to be the starter, week in, week out, and you're not having to shuffle guys in maybe at some point later in the season, and the guys know that, what kind of difference does that make on the offense and the way y'all scheme and all of that?
I don't know. We went 2 years here with a guy that was playing quarterback every snap too. Everybody acts like we've just been rotating quarterbacks like everybody else in this league. It doesn't change for us. It's our game plan is our game plan, and I think what's most important, Ben, is that the learning process over the last 2 weeks of what Trevor's skill sets are in a game, and when you have a certain type of defense that's more set in its ways, like UCLA, and to see where he is with what he's comfortable with and what he's not comfortable with. And then really last week in games like that, you can learn a lot too because of the unorthodox style. I put it that way, for lack of a better term, with Prairie View, who was a blitz-oriented team, and some things that you will never see. Maybe you hope you know. I don't know. But some 4 and 5 off a side, just trying to create things that it's hard to coach, and they'll hit it sometimes, or some guys are open, but it may be unsound. I'll put it that way. But as I've said as a coach, it's only unsound if it doesn't work. So they bring 4 or 5 guys from the side, 6 guys, different things that you don't see how he's able to handle that. That was a learning process too, and us being able to settle down and run it. So, I think what happens is you're able to learn a little bit more about your players and about Trevor, what he's comfortable with, and over time, just like most good players or anybody who wants to please you, I think at first players go through you give them the game plan, and they think they can do it all. They don't want to tell you that they don't like things. Then you watch video and you say, hey, you sure you like that? And then you go through another week and they're like, no, I don't see that the way you guys see it. And that's part of the trust factor, and as guys get older, they're able to do that. And the quicker that you can see that as a coach, I think he and Noel have really had those conversations. I know they have, and we've talked just about where you are, what you're comfortable with, and it doesn't do us any good to force things on you that you're not comfortable with. Let's do the things that you feel comfortable with. We'll work on the other pieces, in practice as we get comfortable as we go down the season. But right now, all right, what do you like, and what do you really like, and then let's come up with ways to do what you like as many different ways as we can, and then get the ball to our players and our skilled guys and let them work. So that's where we are right now. So to answer your question, that's more the process than anything else.
A couple more here. We'll go front left, Zach, and Olin here on the middle.
Coach, a little bit of a two-parter. Your impression of Sean White as well as Auburn's ability to utilize John Franklin III at quarterback.
Yeah, Sean has got us, all these Elite 11 guys, it starts with we know a bunch of them. And, he didn't get a chance to play against us last year. He got nicked up, had an ankle, I think, maybe the week before. But he's got a skill set. He can throw it, what they ask him to do to be able to run some quarterback run game. But he can throw it deep and he can throw it accurately. They've got the ability to change things up. You look at Petway and Johnson. Those guys, both 100 yards, guys that can really run the ball in the back end, and they're interchangeable. They put both of them in there sometimes. Against us, we've seen plenty of Wildcat when we've played Auburn too. So it's all those guys that are able to. Whoever asked me with Gus Malzahn, whoever's on the field who's not in the interior five blocking is eligible to carry the ball in that offense, whether it's in jet motion, two guys back there, Wildcat, and then heck, sometimes I've seen him throw it to the tackle too down the field. So whoever's on the field is damn near eligible for Auburn. And so we got to be aware of what's going on with them offensively, but they've got skill guys that can handle that. And I think what's important is the ability, as I said, off the play action fake, to not let the ball get over our heads because, Sean can he's got a great arm and he can get the ball. They got guys that can get deep and he can get it there.
We'll wrap it up with Olin here on the middle.
Kevin, is Christian still your primary punt returner? Would Nick's return give you any pause about that? And then was the decision to go, and to use the strategy with two guys back deep, is that just because you have so many guys that are capable of returning it?
No, I think what you've seen this year more than anything else, and I think Coach Miles alluded to it, was the Australian punter. Last week we had an Australian we were going against, and so the ability for the ball to be on the ground, for people to roll right and not just kick right anymore, kicking the ball left, the ball spinning all over the place. It's hard for one guy back there to cover all that ground. Does that make sense? So for us, that's been the case. I'll give you an example this week. We've got a couple different things to defend. Their punter has not punted it very deep, but he's kicked it very high, and they've covered it, not right at just under 40 yards, which possession of the ball is the main thing on after you've played defense, you want to hang on to it. So we've utilized two returners basically the first 2 weeks, and it has to do with whether it was Speedy back there and Christian or obviously Nick is comfortable back there, and we feel good about both those guys, but the ability to have guys back there to cover the whole field to us is because possession is the most important thing, and guys getting up and being able to fair catch the ball instead of it rolling around and getting another 20 yards. That's probably our main reason for doing that. But it doesn't hurt in recruiting to have a couple guys back there so that people know that you got a chance to catch it as we recruit guys that will play two returners.
All right.
That doesn't hurt at all.